free, because this is a game where you've got to stay away from the money line. If you go anywhere near the money line on this one, you are crazy, because it's Watford versus Brentford. Two of them sides who will flex their muscles, saying that we're better than you, so there'll be very little respect. So forget the money line. I will go to it in a minute, but you've got to be looking at the under over 2.5 goals. Well, over 2.5 at plus 115, that'd be good enough for most people. The under is at minus 135. The draw could be a runner, but a big score draw, maybe 2-2 at plus 230. Brentford to score twice is at plus 160. Watford to score twice is at plus 180. Now, if you are a nut, then you can go with Watford at plus 190 to win. Brentford on the back of some really good performances. And remember, they went to the European Champions 2 weeks ago and scored 4. Brentford at plus 160. Mark O'Hare, break this down for me, because I just see goals, because there's no respect. And I think that both of them turn up and go, yeah, we can have 3 points today.
Yeah, I think from a Watford perspective, it's now or never, really. 6 points is the gap now between them and survival. The teams above them have played a game less than Watford, and Watford only have 7 games to play. So the pressure's really on, and I think it's now the time where they actually have to start releasing those shackles, play on the front foot, which I think they've attempted to do in recent matches and just not really had a huge amount of reward for their efforts. But their Vicarage Road form has been an utter disaster all season. I think it's 9 defeats on the spin. They're almost going to close to a Premier League record in that sense. But they've got all their big hitters fit and available, so there's no reason why they can't score a few goals themselves here and make a game of it. Land a blow on a Brentford team who've bagged only 2 clean sheets in 16 playing away from home. The flip side is, can you trust Watford defensively? Because they've conceded 2 or more goals in all 4 home matches under Hodgson. Normally you sort of associate him with pretty decent defensive setup and system. And across the whole season, they've conceded multiple goals in 11 of 15 at Vicarage Road. So immediately drawn towards the goals angles. Brentford as good as safe, but I don't expect them to down tools just yet. I think that's kind of in Thomas Frank's nature to keep pushing. They're playing good football, as you say. Came through a nightmare schedule. The signing of Christian Eriksen, his introduction has certainly aided what they're doing in the final third. And they've won 4 of the last 5, scoring twice or more in 4 of those as well. So, you know, even
against
if you just
big
look
opposition, Mark, as well. Big opposition.
Yeah, for sure. So they're in a good moment, as I say, on the continent. And if you just look at the raw numbers, 67% of Watford's home games overs, 62% of Brentford's away days overs. Yet the goal expectancy here is 2.5. We're getting plus money for over 2.5 goals. I'm not really sure how or why, and I'm presuming it's down to the Hodgson factor. But as I say, it's absolutely pointless playing pragmatic football from here on in. You have to start getting forward, scoring goals, and to have any sort of chance of survival. So I think the lay of the land and the situation the Premier League is in, or Watford are in right now, you know, kind of supersedes any sort of notion that Hodgson will play defensive and cautious football here, because it serves a 0-0 draw here. It doesn't do anyone any good. So yeah, I just think it's one of those moments where you just have to think that the odds are just wrong here, and it should be a lot shorter than it is. So yeah, more than happy to get over 2.5 goals at plus money when the Premier League averages around 2.79 goals per game.
I bet you are. And I don't see either of these keeping a clean sheet neither, Mark Stinchcombe. I think Watford could win this very easily. 3-1, 3-2, could be a 3-3 draw. I do not see under 2.5, so that's just the conservative way. But I don't see one of the teams winning 3-0, so then you've got to go with both teams to score an over, surely.
Yeah, I don't see Watford winning because of all the reasons kind of Mark gave, and the fact they have lost the last 9 home games. I think the signing of Christian Eriksen, let's not beat about the bush. Eriksen not so long ago was on the cusp, I'd say, of being kind of world-class player. He has the ability to change games by himself. Yeah. I think he's just given Brentford a fresh impetus for the rest of the season, and that was very impressive, the way they went to Stamford Bridge and scored 4. And he just seems to be linking that midfield and attack now, because with that 3-5-2, I think sometimes the 2 strikers get quite isolated, and I think Eriksen's doing a great job of linking them together. So yeah, maybe you could take Brentford on the handicap, because it's a pick'em, so you get your money back if it's a draw. But I really like the look of goals. Brentford have, other than the first few games of the season, they haven't been fantastic defensively. I think Mark mentioned about their lack of clean sheets, and we all know about Watford's deficiencies in defence. Watford's games average 2.87 goals, which is above the Premier League average, and Brentford's at 2.72, so it's just slightly below. But as Mark mentioned, the odds here suggest the input of what we're expecting the goals to be at just 2.5. So yeah, lots of scope for going for the overs. I'm taking the bet slightly further though, and just going to take over 2.25 goals at minus 125. Just because I get half my stake back then if there's only 2 goals. So just a nice bit of extra security. But it just depends what kind of bettor you are. If you're a bit more adventurous, then just take the straight over 2.5, or you like to be a bit more pragmatic, then you can take the 2.25. Because the only way you lose all your stake if there's 0 or 1 goals, and I think we'd all be in agreement. There's not many people that would be taking under 2 goals.
Well, what about if you're just a normal bettor and you say, well, Watford ain't winning 3-0. Brentford are not winning 3-0. If you think there's going to be over 2, you go with both teams to score an over. And I'd love to be able to tell you what price that is, but I cannot. Stinch, maybe you can. Maybe you can tell me what price I got for that, because I think it was like plus 150, plus 160. But there is good news. Good news is I'm now back in the room, so I can see home of TikTok. Spurs, maybe this is loading, so maybe I'm still talking like last week. Honest to God.
150.
Plus 150. Both teams to score an over. That's not great though, Mark O'Hare, is it? When you think you're asking both teams to score and over at 150, and you're only getting like 35 cents more than just going straight over 2.5.
Yeah, I think I'd be more persuaded to take the Brentford goal line over 1.5 goals at plus 180, because I think
that's Watford's 160 Brentford, but I still I take what you say. Yeah, because it could be 2-0, couldn't it?
Yeah, exactly, and not just that. If we're looking for 3 goals and both teams are going to contribute, the more likelihood is Brentford are going to score the 2 of the 3. So, yeah, that's the alternative.
Yeah, I got to agree. So maybe the Brentford over 1.5 goals at plus 160 is better than the over 2.5 goals in the game, because you're getting better price and you don't even need the 3rd goal. So have a little look at the official picks, though, because we have got involved in this game. And it's over 2.5 goals at plus 115. Then you got Mr. Pragmatic of over 2 and 2.5, which is basically over 2.25. I've really got to sort that graphic out and help out my boys. Minus 125, and for me, it's both teams scoring over 2.5 at plus 150. But we wouldn't put anyone off of the Brentford team total over 1.5 at plus 160. To be fair, I wouldn't put anyone off of the Watford one at plus 180 neither.